All right, on the set now after another strong debate performance, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. How are you, Governor? Good to see you.
I'll tell you what, I've been in California. We got in Sunday night, and we were in Coronado.
Gavin's in the room.
Well, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
People are buzzing about this debate that you're going to do. So I think it's going to be incredible. We're due. But tonight, look, there was a lot of bickering on the stage. And, you know, my thing is like, look, we owe it to the American people to give our vision about how we're going to reverse this country's decline. And I think I was able to do that. I think some of the crosstalk, if I was at home watching that, I would turn the channel when I saw that. So we were able to, I think, rise above that and deliver our message.
Listen, in my view, there were a couple of people on that stage, in my view, that probably shouldn't have been there.
Right.
I mean, and I think at that point it lends itself more to a conversation. It is interesting. I think this debate is with you and the governor is going to be very interesting. So I'm looking forward to moderating that. And I think with 90 minutes, just plenty of breathing room. So that will lend itself to more conversation.
And you know what? Maybe we can say, since the former president didn't come here, maybe he'd be willing to do one with you and I. I think he owes it to our voters to come and make the case.
You're now challenging it. So this is going to be Hannity one-on-one debate
Let's
central.
do it. Let's do it, right?
I'll do anything.
So,
I'll ask him.
Here's the thing, though. You owe it to the voters to come and make the case. No one's entitled to anything. You know, you can say, oh, there's some poll months before. No. You got to make the case. You got to owe it to the voters. So I'm going to show up everywhere. I think that's what we were able to do. And, you know, there were some, I think, some important issues that were discussed tonight. There's also others that I know you and I have talked about that weren't discussed. But at the end of the day, I think the thing that was clear for this, there's a lot of talk. A lot of people had good things to say. I'm the guy that's done it. In Florida, we did everything I promised. We delivered. And we're sick of the talk with Republicans. Right. They always promise all this. Like, what are the two biggest issues, arguably, right now? The debt and the border. You and I have been talking about this for as long as we've known each other. Isn't it time we get a leader to come in and bring this stuff into a conclusion and a landing? And I think if we're able to, you know, to do that with the nomination and win the election, we're going to be able to get all this stuff done.
Nobody brought up the point regarding the border, and I thought you had a very strong position of what you would do to close the border and you know, no nonsense, get this thing closed. It's now become, to me, more than anything else, a national security issue.
Yes.
We are catching people that are on the terror watch list, but we're not vetting anybody. We have no idea what their background is.
People are coming from China, Russia, Iran, all of our enemy countries. They're coming across the border. I hope I'm wrong, but if I had to bet my life savings, I would bet that there will be a terrorist attack that happens in the future of this country that's going to be traced to that.
I mean, I wish, I pray we're wrong.
These guys in D.C., they don't care. There's no urgency. I mean, some of our guys in the House care, but like the elites in D.C., they don't care. Biden doesn't care. He's missing in action on this as the carnage mounts. And I agree. I mean, I think that this is above all a national security issue. Now, there's also nuts and bolts issues. I mean, the amount of illegals that are pouring in, medical care is being taxed, schools, it's overwhelming communities far away from the border. You see it in New York City.
In New York City, so they're paying about, on average, $40,000 per illegal immigrant. Okay, they expect
and they're kicking out the veterans to make room for illegals.
The veterans never had the four-star hotels.
Yes.
They're building all these facilities. They expect to spend $12 billion in the next 18 months. And, you know, they're claiming this came from Governor Abbott. No, 87%
Greg has said some, and I think it's been very good. Exactly.
It's 13%.
But here's the problem with this government we have, and I think why people are rightfully so frustrated. They can't tell us how many illegals are coming across the border. They can't tell us how many tanks we left in Afghanistan. They can't tell you where all the money in Ukraine went. They can't even tell you how cocaine got in the White House, and yet they want to go after, if you do $601 transaction.
Let's be fair to the investigators. They spent 10 long days investigating where that cocaine came from and came to the conclusion they'll never get a conclusion. How is that? But in the Menendez case, they actually found the fingerprints of the people that handed the envelopes, so they claim, to Senator Menendez. Pretty interesting comparison.
I can't believe, you know, he had all the gold bars there. I guess that's a real testament to Bidenflation.
Listen, I love that he Googled
people. You need to have that.
How much is a kilo of gold worth, right? You can't make this up. Generally speaking, you know, I guess the theme of the night, as I watched and listened to you tonight, was, okay, these are the tough stances I took in Florida. These are that's my proven track record, and that's what I want to bring to the White House. That's your message.
I think it's leadership. and I think it's deliverables. Because we can have great sloganeering, we can have great debates, but if we're not ultimately going to get this done, then none of it matters. And one of the things I've been thinking about lately, because preparing here, I looked at Reagan's farewell address. So in 2033 in January, what would I say to the American people after serving 2 terms? And that's really the vision of, you're going to be able to get ahead again in this country. We're going to have an economy that works for people. We're going to have our sovereignty restored and borders enforced. We're going to make sure that we have education, not indoctrination. We will be the world's leading superpower. We will fend off the threat from China successfully. We're not going to have crime overrunning every city in America anymore, and we're going to restore the Constitution so that we have a limited government that works beside us and on our behalf, not a weaponized government that comes after us. If we can do that, then we will have restored the shining city on the hill that Reagan talks about, and we'll be able to turn over America to our kids and grandkids better than we found it.
Governor, thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you.
Yep.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.